Hello, hello, beautiful being. Thank you for being here and welcome back. Welcome back. Or just welcome if you're new here. Hello, beautiful beings and beautiful friends. Appreciate you. Hope you're well. I'm just gonna ramble for a bit. Just ramble for a little bit. That is okay with you. I'm just gonna ramble for a little bit and then show you the things that I have with me. Sorry it's a little bit loud outside. It's 10:50 p.m. 10:50 p.m. on a Tuesday. I just looked at the book next to me and it has a splodge in it. And I'm drinking coffee. So I thought that I spilled it, but I didn't. I did not. Anyways. And it's just a little latte. Just a little latte with my Daiso mug. All these guys, please tag yourself. A tree, a giraffe, a little alligator, a little crocodile, a cat, a toadstool, a bird, a cloud, a frog, a fish, toadstool, a flower, toadstool, apple, pig, monkey, the sun, turtle, star, one of the ants, and if so, they all very different ants, different moods, different colours. Your panda, rat, rabbit, clover, moon bear. Is that a moon bear or something? I think that's a moon bear because it looks like a crescent moon. So many awesome guys to choose from. What are you feeling like? Let me know, please. Please. Okay, so I was pretty stressed today. Because I was teaching. I was teaching years 5 and 6 club, DJ club. If you didn't know, I teach kindergarten to year 6. The history of dance music, and how the DJ and the kids were menaces today. They're crazy. They were like this. They were just not listening. So if you're listening, are you still listening? Or have you skipped it? If you skipped it, then I'm stupid. If you have not, then thank you for staying. Thank you for being here. So I was not in a good mood. But then I went to softball, and I'm still in my softball gear with some added little jewelry, which I will show you quickly because I know you're interested. Ooh. That sounds nice to me, but I don't know if it picked up. But I have this choker that I've had for years. It is a shoelace. Someone asked me that once, and I was like, damn, I thought it was subtle. Like it's sparkly, and that is tied in a nice little bow. But that's okay. And it can't really suit with this photo booth quality. But it's a griffin with a sword, and unfortunately I don't think you can get this job anymore. It was from the brand Gum Boots that then became Gum. And I don't think they exist anymore, but they used to have fun kids' clothes and this incredible charm. So, and then I've got my rings, which aren't really making any sounds. What type of crystal is that? What stone is that? Someone tell me, because I'm having a blank right now. Is it lapis, perhaps? It's adjustable. And this one, thankfully, does not turn my finger green. But the other one I have that I wear heaps, that's fluorite. I guess it's a different copper or something that they've used, and makes me Shrek. And then these two, we've got the, why am I blinking all these there? Pearl and opalite, I think, but I love them, and this one has a little crescent moon. They're shiny, pretty, and then I have this snake cuff. That was my mom's. And the headband. Anyways, speaking about those for long enough, wearing my little softball fit. Thinking about Alice Cullen and wishing that they played loud music during softball games, because I was not on it today and I am not sporty, which, if you are watching this, you likely know that. Anyways. Oh my goodness. Most exciting news. Friendship. Sorry, that's not funny. Friendship. I have said it and I'm going to say it again. I love friendship, and I think it needs to be valued more. I don't think it's less, I don't think platonic love is lesser than romantic or any other form of love, and I appreciate and am emotionally attached to my friends very deeply, and I'm grateful for that. And sometimes it feels like a curse, but mostly it's a blessing. And the point being that I get stuck in my head a lot and get really, really excited about, I get really nervous about new people, but then if they seem nice, I get really excited and want to be close with them, or hear about the things that they love and their hobbies, and want to show them all my trinkets and things. And then I overthink and I feel like I'm too much or not enough. It's this whole vicious cycle, but it's okay, because a friend from primary school so many years ago reached out, and if for whatever reason he's listening to this, shout out, thank you. So crazy, but yeah, and it was just so nice to be able to talk as if, actually it wasn't like no time had passed, because we could look back at silly little things that happened when we were so little, and just now we're both so much more ourselves and know what we want to do, or just can discuss what, I don't know, it was just very, very lovely. So I hope you have nice moments with friends, past or recent or whatever. Hope you have nice moments with those that you care for, who care for you as well. I don't think I've spoken recently about how much I love bread. I love bread, I love bread, I love bread. Okay. Been rambling for so freaking long, but it's my channel, it's mine. This channel is mine. It's mine, so I get to ramble about as long as I like, because I don't think any people are watching, and the ones that do should hopefully understand. And this is a safe place, a safe, whimsical, beautiful place. So, plus, you can just skip. I'll put some timestamps. Sorry, I will put little timestamps. Let me show you what else I have. I think this is going to be for video afterwards. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. The Penguin Classics edition. It's a little book. So I might read that normally in another video. We can start to read it quietly. Start to quietly read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here, there's a little bedtime story. Side note, I recently watched a video of someone reading The Gruffalo, and I remember as a child watching that play and reading that book, and around the same time is Where the Wild Things Are, and so it just felt very warm. But I also have this one. Sounds so different. Fairies, elves, and goblins, the old stories. But apologies, the city is going crazy. There was some sirens on my end, so, but it is okay. You're okay. You're okay. And I'm okay. So, I also got some matchsticks. We're gonna light this little candle, this little sleep candle. Let's try that again. There we go. If your eyes are open, we're just going to briefly follow the flame. Is it in the left or the right? Is it in the left or the right? We're gonna put them. And I also have wild folk, woodlands. It does smell like the woods, but it's also a bit floral. Oh, sweet, like cinnamon. So we get a little match again. And just light it on the other candle. There we go. I don't think you can hear that, so that's a shame. Okay. I also got this notebook, which I love. These classic simple designs. I thought it was by paperback, but it says Nippon Note, made in Japan. And it's just lined paper. And on the back I've put this moon sticker that I made. So I just drew a crescent moon, some craters and a face. Had the paper on baking paper with tape, then the paper, the drawing, and then tape again. So let's just write you a quick little note before we read. Let's be practicing writing something at the top, so just ignore that. Oh, you can't really hear that. That is for you. Oh, is this back to front for you? I'll read it to you. You are loved. Smiley face. Thank you, legend, for being here. Little heart. Best wishes, best wishes, best wishes. With little star. Okay, and now, just before we read, I have Stickatopium. Gorgeous graphic. Just going to turn. Oh, perfect. We have a bunch of bats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bats, and then this church or cemetery. Got little gravestones. And a purple church that goes up. With a big full moon. Some swirls and little skulls. So let's give you. I quite like this one. I quite like this little bat, so I'm gonna give it to you. If that is okay, if you would like. If you would like, and look after this little bat right here. This bat is very happy to go with you. Can I just stick it? Can I just stick this butt sticker? Will you just ride? Maybe. No. Perfect. He looks very happy with it. I am also planning. Scheming and plotting a murder mystery night with friends, and I'm very excited for that. I just saw my little accusation papers, which I put these fun little skeleton guys on. Look at him go. This snazzy little skeleton has this horn or tube thing that he's playing that has a snake coming out of it, and it's on the accusation paper for guests, characters to write who they think the murderer is, and so who, when, and how. So for anyone interested, I have done a boxed set one, which was pretty affordable, and it said it would go for recommended 2 to 3 hours. We ended up going for the 6 hours with 8 people, I think, and that was Death by Chocolate. Death by Chocolate. But it was a lot of fun. The one you can only play once, not just once. So I'm probably going to re-gift it to someone, because I ended up, instead of using the cards that it came with, like the invites, making my own, so someone else can use it. It's like the same instructions, and there's a link. I think there's a link to the audio messages and stuff, little videos. But this time I'm doing Seance in London, and it is set in 1899. And it's a publisher whose twin has been missing for over a week, so he fears the worst, and he invites the elite that he knows, and also the highest in their jobs for those renowned in writing or mysticism, and who know about or are open to the occult and spirits. So he wants to hold a seance to contact his sister, because he thinks that she's dead and wants to find out what happened to her. So that's very, very exciting. And if you've played any murder mystery type games, or any roleplay games, tabletop roleplay games, or story games, anything like that, that is very much up my alley, and I would love to hear about them. Or DM me a photo of your characters and things. That'd be hectic. The characters for this game are included, and I am playing. Who am I playing? Who am I, guys? It's in like a week. I let everyone else do their characters first this time. Oh my goodness, I am the medium. I am the one who knows about spirits and fully believes in them, which is fitting. I did purchase myself a Ouija board recently, and while I don't fully believe in ghosts that formed in the sense that they're like full physical things, I'm very open to different thoughts and ideas, and I think that it's nice knowing that everything holds energy, and that energy can't be created or destroyed within science. So playing that through, just there is energy all around us, and lots of things like death and dying scare me. So didn't think we were gonna go here in this little episode, but it is a comfort thinking about delicious. So yeah, I digress. Point being, I am playing the medium who's trying to prove herself and prove to others that spirits are there and that she can contact them. But she has to pull off a few little tricks to make it a bit fancier for this crowd. So yeah, interesting character to get into, and there's a lot there. But yeah, let's read, shall we? Let's read. Okay, final thing before I read the start of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz and then a chapter of fairies, elves and goblins. Would you like some self-love mist from Muses of Mystery? They are Melbourne based, and this mist smells very pleasantly of roses. I don't really like water sounds, but for anyone who does. And the properties are love, healing, support. The element is water and air. Now we both smell of roses. Okay. I think I got some rose in my eye, guys. Dorothy thinks she's lost forever when a tornado whirls her and her dog, Toto, into a magical world. To get home, she must find the wonderful wizard in the Emerald City of Oz. On the way, she meets the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Cowardly Lion. But the Wicked Witch of the West has her own plans for the new arrival. Will Dorothy ever see Kansas again? For anyone wondering, yes, I loved the musical stage play when I was a kid. No, I did not see it on Broadway, so the cast was different. Yes, I remember the witch flying over us. Yes, it was incredible. Yes, I have seen the original film, as well as Oz the Great and Powerful, which I don't really remember, but I remember not liking because of him. I've only seen the recent Wicked, but perhaps I will go see Wicked for good. This book is dedicated to my good friend and comrade, my wife, Real. There's an old card that someone has made for my mom. That's so cute. Alice mixed with Dorothy. Yeah. That's very sweet. Very sweet. Okay. The Cyclone. Dorothy lived in the midst of the great Kansas prairies with Uncle Henry, who was a farmer, and Aunt Em, who was the farmer's wife. Their house was small, for the lumber to build it had to be carried by a wagon many miles. There were 4 walls, a floor, and a roof, which made one room, and this room contained a rusty-looking cooking stove, a cupboard for the dishes, a table, 3 or 4 chairs, and the beds. Uncle Henry and Aunt Em had a big bed in one corner, and Dorothy a little bed in another corner. There was no garret at all, and no cellar, except a small hole dug in the ground called a cyclone cellar, where the family would go in case of one of those great whirlwinds arose, mighty enough to crush any building in its path. It was reached by a trapdoor in the middle of the floor, from which a ladder led down into the small, dark hole. When Dorothy stood in the doorway and looked around, she could see nothing but the great, grey prairie on every side. Not a tree, nor a house broke the broad sweep of flat country that reached to the edge of the sky in all directions. The sun had baked the ploughed land into a grey mass, with little cracks running through it. Even the grass was not green, for the sun had burned the tops of long blades until they were the same grey colour to be seen everywhere. Once the house had been painted, but the sun blistered the paint, and the rains washed it away, and now the house was as dull and grey as everything else. If you would like to find out more, please let me know. I think after this, I will read it. I guess soft spoken. Can you hear on my side the wind through the trees? The wind moving through the trees. Pretty sure I read the start of this book in a different video recently, so let's begin in England with Hob Thrush. Hob Thrush, Hob Thrush. There's a door. It looks to be in a tree with long grass and cobblestone path, and here is the hob thrush with his pointed shoes and butterfly looking wings, pointy ears and little beanie with a pom-pom. holding some sort of cleaning thing, perhaps. And each chapter start has nice writing with a little fairy, a little pixie. There was once a woman who had so much housework to do that she wished there were twice as many hours in the day. Her husband was a busy man too, and truth to tell, it was mostly his fault that the woman was so overloaded. For every evening he came home from the fields, covered in mud, which he dropped all over their little cottage, so that she had to sweep, and scrub for ages to get rid of it. Moreover, they had a large brood of hungry, scampish children, so they had endless clothes to launder and darn, not to mention meals to cook and clear away. Of course, the woman loved her family dearly, but she couldn't help being constantly tired and irritable. One fine spring morning, she got up at dawn to make an early start on her never-ending chores. A thrush was singing merrily in the lilac tree outside the front door, so she allowed herself a moment's indulgence to step outside and hear it. Thank you, bird," she said. "What a pity there's no time to listen any longer." And with a sigh, she went back into the kitchen to start her work. But what a surprise awaited her, for the kitchen was already spick and span. The flagstone floor was clean enough to eat off. The children's toys and books were neatly stacked. In a corner, the mats were shaken out. The dirty clothes had been washed, dried, ironed, and folded. The fire was already lit, and the kettle in the range was coming up to the boil. The brass candlesticks on the mantelpiece had been polished until they gleamed, and to top it all, the table was laid for breakfast with a large loaf of freshly baked bread and a big pat of newly churned butter. The woman's eyes almost popped out of her head. Just then, her husband came down to join her. "Did you do this?" she cried. "Oh, how kind you are to help me." But her husband shook his head in bewilderment. "No, it wasn't me. You know I couldn't get the house in order however hard I tried." "Then one of the neighbors must have taken pity on me," said the woman thoughtfully. "I wonder who, though I feel bad about always grumbling, because they've got all more than enough work of their own." After breakfast, she popped around all the other cottages in the village to find out who her benefactor was, but no one owned up. "I'm almost as busy as you," each one insisted. "Much as I'd like to help you, I'm afraid I just don't have time." Then, as the woman turned to go, each neighbor made exactly the same suggestion. "Have you thought it might not be a person at all? It might be a hob or a brownie, a house fairy." The woman went home and told her husband and children what the neighbors had said. They were all very excited, since the woman had heard a thrush singing just before she first discovered his handiwork. They decided to call their mysterious helper Hub Thrush. Then they all agreed, even the children, to be on their best behavior and not to interfere. That night, the woman went to bed in a state of nervous anticipation. Nervous anticipation. And the next morning, she was rewarded with another sparkling clean kitchen. And so it went on, day after day. Mindful that house fairies expect a high standard of behavior from the people they help, the woman was careful never to take advantage of Hobthrush. She continued to work as hard as ever. The only difference was that now she was able to do certain things that she hadn't had time for before, like baking cakes and making jam, and she could rest in bed easy in her mind, knowing that whatever she hadn't been able to get through that day would be finished perfectly overnight. She felt great affection for the invisible Hob who had made her life so much happier. To show her gratitude, she always left out a treat for him before she went to bed. A glass of milk or elderberry wine, and a good slice of fruitcake, or a dish of mashed potatoes. To her delight, it was always gone when she came downstairs in the morning. Of course, the children were desperate to know what Hobthrush looked like, but they resisted the temptation to spy. Then, one night, the woman's husband was called out by a friend to help him with a sick cow. By the time he got home, it was well after midnight. As he crept upstairs, he heard noises coming from behind the kitchen door, someone singing and a soft scraping and rattling. Peeping through the keyhole, at last he saw Hobthrush. He was just as they had imagined, a tiny man with a wizened face and shiny berry dark eyes. He had pulled all the plates off the dresser and was busy polishing the wood behind them. Now that was something the woman never had time to do. There was a big grin on his face and a dance in his movements. But one thing shocked the husband, and that was Hobthrush's clothes. His green jacket, breeches, and hat were all worn almost to tatters, and his stockings and shoes were full of holes. The husband leaped upstairs, woke his wife, and told her what he had seen. "Ah," she cried, "now I know exactly how we can say a proper thank you to Hobthrush. I'll make him a brand new suit, fit for a prince." The next day she rushed through her drawers, leaving only a few odds and ends for the Hob to finish. Then she fetched a bag of scraps and sewing basket and started stitching him a beautiful brown velvet jacket and matching breeches with a scarlet felt cap and some green knitted stockings. It took her all week. As soon as they were finished, she laid the clothes out beside her nightly offering of wine and cake and went to bed, so excited she could scarcely get to sleep. In the morning the clothes were gone, but the wine and cake were untouched, and, sad to say, the family never had any help from Hobthrush again. Well, I think now we know where someone got some character from. How's else, guys? In most of folklore tales, to my understanding, from what I've read about the ones in England and Wales, which is the next one, midwife to the fairies, set in Wales, or from Wales. The Fae, which can also mean undead. The Fae or fairies are neither good nor evil. And they can only tell the truth, but they often speak in riddles, so they're a little bit cheeky with it. Yes, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. That was nice for me to do anyways. And finally read. Okay, I hope you have a nice night and that the day is kind to you. Bring some sort of betterment or goodness to hold on to. I can hear that. And if you're still up and about to go to bed, remember to leave an offering of milk, or elderberry wine, or something nice for any earthly spirits. Unless if you live with animals like cats like I do, or have an unfortunate bug infestation, in which case cat milk, lactose free milk, and don't let it go to spoils. But anyways. Bye. See you soon. Much love. Wait, Liz, do I have a little guy with me?